Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a brand new girls haircut tutorial since my previous one did just hit 100,000 views. I also have other boys haircut tutorials as well. I'll link all those down below in the description box for you to check out. But before we dive into this tutorial, I really need you to do one thing. I need you to hit that red subscribe button right down below because that allows me to continue to bring you guys these free tutorials. I also love creating content on motivation for the mundane, motherhood, lifestyle, and beauty. So be sure you hit that subscribe button and also you hit the bell notification, and that will alert you anytime I post a brand new video, which is now weekly. So be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful, share it with your friends, and let's go get started. To begin, if you need to, you can use a booster seat on any chair in your home, or if your daughter has long hair, it might be easiest to start out with her standing up at first. Next, you can place a hair cutting cape over your child just to keep them nice and clean, and I will link all of the products and tools that I use in this video down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. Next, I'm just wetting down her hair, and the key here is to keep it evenly saturated. Any dry areas in the hair will result in an uneven haircut, so throughout the entire haircut, make sure it's evenly saturated. Next, you'll just want to run a comb through the entire head of hair just to evenly distribute that water and get out any tangles. And at this point, you can just leave your child's natural hair part, that's just fine. Next, you want to grab your hair cutting shears to begin the haircut, and as well as your barber's comb. If your child's hair is naturally a little bit more thin, you can go ahead and begin the haircut right here on this step and divide the hair down the middle of the head. Or if your child has thicker hair, then I recommend sectioning that off. So you'll want to just section off half the hair in the back, just like I'm doing here. Clip that half up. Go ahead and start the haircut here, and then you'll take down that section in just a second. With you through it all, winter through the fall, you just make the call. Yeah, I'm in it for it all. I'm in it for the love, 'cause love needs to touch. So next you'll want to take a section out of the middle of the head, just like I'm doing right here, and then that is where you're going to decide how much hair you would like to take off, and this will be your guide for the whole haircut. Brinley has lots of fine baby hairs still coming in, and that's why I never take off too much in every single haircut I do on her lately, because I'm trying to let it all catch up and even out without just chopping all of her hair off. So here I'm pointing out how uneven it is. It's almost like kind of a mullet in the middle is how it's naturally been growing, because all of her baby hairs are trying to catch up. So if that's the case with your daughter too, I recommend just taking off a little bit at a time, and then over time all of that hair will grow out and you can even it out then. The key here is just to pull the hair straight down, and then you see in the middle where it's shorter here, that's where I started my guide, and now you can see where it's longer on the other side. So you're just going to line that up and cut it all in an even straight line. If your daughter has naturally wavy hair like my daughter does, it's essential to use light tension. Don't pull really hard on the hair because that can also make it uneven, especially with the curls. If your daughter has straight hair, it's not that big of a deal, but when it's wavy, you kind of have to work with that wave a little bit. Then you'll just work your way around to the other side, making that one even straight line again before we move on to that next section. So here, when you take that next section down, you'll just comb it all directly down, and you will be able to see underneath where you created that whole entire guide. Take another middle section out of the middle of the head, and then you'll see that guide underneath, and that's exactly where you need to cut and create your line all again.
Then once you have that middle section cut, now you can see your guide a little bit easier, and then you'll see your line where to continue straight on across. Here you can see all of her little baby hairs, and there's a lot more in there that you can't see, but if your daughter has this, like I said, you just have to really be patient and let those grow out. Here I'm still just working all the way around the head to make sure that I have that nice even guide. Next, I'm going to start putting in some layers and add some movement into the hair. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my middle section again and then comb all of that hair directly out into a 90-degree angle. Then from there, you'll be able to see the guide at the bottom that you originally cut, and then cut the hair that's longer above it to create those layers. So you'll see how it's shorter down towards the bottom and then longer at the top. That's exactly where my guide is and where I'm going to work my way all the way up to the crown of the head. Next, you'll essentially take that middle section that you just cut and divide that section into half. Pick up half of that section with a little bit of the hair next to it and create a whole new section, so that way you can see the guide from what you just cut and follow that along all the way up. And then you'll just continue that exact process all the way around to both sides of the head, just working up to the crown section, and then next we'll work on the top of the head. I'm not cutting full on bangs on Brinley, but what I am going to do is do a little bit of a face frame and blend that down to the side. So I sectioned off that middle section, which is the bang section right there in the front, and you can see all of her little baby hairs underneath there. Those just need to grow out. So comb that section straight down. I'm just taking off a little bit of length here, and this will serve as my guide to blend in the rest of the layers essentially. So now I'm going to take up a middle section from the middle of the head and pull that straight up, and then you'll be able to see in the very front where I cut that guide, and then line that up towards the back of the head. And that's basically what you've done the entire haircut. So then you're just going to take it all the way back, and then next I'm going to go ahead and cross check on the sides just to blend all of those layers into each other. Next, I'm just going to take horizontal sections of the head now and just pick that hair straight up, comb it straight across, and in the middle you'll see where you cut it shorter, and then you'll just line it up that way. And then you'll just want to make sure that you blend that top section down into the section that you already cut so that it's all nice and even. So as I'm blending here in this middle section, you can see how it's longer there. I'm just continuing that straight line from the front and then making that all even. Next, I'm just taking the bang section and blending that into the sides, otherwise known as kind of a face frame. So you'll just start at the bang section and then diagonally kind of cut down into the sides of the hair just to make that nice and even there. You can really see all of the movement in there from all the layers that we cut, and her hair is obviously so much more even than it was before. Next, you can just go ahead and bring all the hair down and go around and make sure that it's all nice and perfectly even. But that pretty much wraps up this tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you found this helpful. Share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.